Okay, then we're live. Okay, I kind of did this almost 2 years ago when we talked about game reviews and stuff like that. I think we spent a few hours on it. We have a little less people now. Um, okay, going from this angle. So, uh, oops, sorry about that. Advertising.
Shit.
I forgot to mute the stream I was watching. There was an ad popping. That's why. Um, yeah, cause I don't know what you think of how people have done or the industry have done reviews. But I've seen this plenty of times where uh, games get good reviews and people just hate them. What do you guys think of how the gaming industry and like regular gamers have such a disconnect to the reviewers?
Well, from what I've seen recently, it looks like the gaming industry has been more into making a crap load of money instead of just making good games as of late.
Yeah, that's true, but we also have these gaming journalists that do everything. They they want to do everything to get the clicks instead of actually reviewing the game. I don't know,
Uh,
Frost, do you have any
I
thoughts?
think there's two things mainly wrong with the journalism industry and gaming right now. One is the ideological gatekeeping that's going on, which is also being used to garner sympathy and support from people who also share the same views. And then there's the topic of money. These journalists they'll seem to write just about anything and say anything they can to get clicks or views or support.
Yeah, but we also see I've seen this plenty of times when on Metacritic. I know there are a bunch of trolls just giving games like a 1 out of 10 just to troll. But I still believe that that's the minority. When there's such a big difference between the user ratings, even on Steam reviews, when you see um, games being mostly negative or positive compared to what the reviewers are saying. It just shows. I always like to use Gone Home. Like it has an 85 on Metacritic. But who the hell likes Gone Home?
There's a certain type of person that likes Gone Home.
Exactly, and it seems to be
yeah,
the gaming not gamers themselves, exception for maybe a few SJWs.
I gotta ask myself, do the people who even play these kind of games have ever touched a controller at all?
It doesn't seem like that because you all know the Polygon stuff, where Arthur G's didn't manage to play Doom properly, so I kind of doubt it.
It seems like a
Yeah,
lot of these people barely even enjoy the games that they play.
Yeah, because there are YouTubers and streamers who do it for fun. They don't even get money for that stuff. Because we've seen on YouTube where they get copyright strikes left and right and DMCA claims. But gamers mostly do it for fun and review games for fun and don't get a cent, while these people get paid to sit around critique games and they can't even manage to play them properly,
I'm a
which pisses
critic,
me
but
off.
yet I can't criticize the most basic values. The most basic values that people actually want me to criticize. I mean, I think there's a certain responsibility for a critic to be able to, I wouldn't say look through the eyes of their readers, but just be able to give them things in reviews that they actually want to know about.
Yeah, I don't require anything more, but I looked up Kevin Van Roor, who's not longer with GameSpot, but he reviewed Arrow's Awakening for the site, and he didn't play it on he barely played it on PC. I looked up his Xbox account. I think he had one achievement for it, and I couldn't find his PSN account. So he didn't actually play the game and reviewed the fucking game.
I think a lot of these reviewers have also gotten to the point where they're no longer trying to enjoy the games that they're playing. They're just trying to get it done to get money, clicks, or whatever. And I think at that point it kind of becomes apparent that you're not actually into what you're doing. I mean, it's understandable, but at the same time, at least make some fucking effort.
Yeah,
So,
they are professionals. Yeah, go ahead.
so in a way, they're just doing it to feed their egos.
Pretty much. I mean, that's a part of it. To say, I know there. It's kind of like the people that get interested in things and then they pretend like they know more than everybody else, and nobody else could possibly know what they know about this particular thing.
And I like pretentious movie critics. I would
Very much
compare them.
so.
Oh my god.
If you look, if you look at a lot of these people, you'll see that same type of personality, even in their writing.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I did. It wasn't really implied, but I know why I did. It got kicked off GameSpot and IP banned because I criticized and pointed out their reviews and how they didn't disclose that they were at a review event during the Metal Gear Solid thing. Uh, just that you have to fight to that reviewers have to disclose that shit in a review. Um, it kind of baffles my mind. Something so simple as that is so hard to go do. I'm seeing Saruda Hime or Haim or however you spell it in the chat. I think what is happening with the gaming media is what had happened with the regular media. Because the average person can access news and tweets in real time, media has shifted to news. Most of these guys are trust fund babies. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah,
With that.
the connections. Well, they have a lot of connections,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to their rich friends, and God knows who else can deals with them. I
I
mean,
mean,
just look
and
at Soy Quinn, for example.
yeah, but
Like,
also whenever these people quit the gaming and quit journalism, they become community managers or whatever in gaming companies, and that's a big problem.
comparing these people to something like the YouTubers that normally do either gaming or movie reviews, you can see a big difference in the level of, I wouldn't say the level of skill, but just the level of involvement in what they do. The gaming journalists who write for sites like Polygon, Kotaku, GameSpot, IGN, all of that, they seem sort of detached
Yeah.
from their craft. And I think as a person who's really interested in games, it becomes even more apparent that they're not really into it. I mean, it's a job, but at the same time, I think that if you're going to work a job, you should put some effort into it and try to at least understand who the people you're working for, what they want, and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think
And
and I think a lot of
okay.
websites need to update their ethics policies, and not only that, they need to establish criteria that these reviews need to be based on, so that things like this stop happening, where you have journalists releasing shit reviews of stuff that don't contain any real information but ideological blindsight.
Oh yeah. I used to like how GameSpot how they did their reviews, where they had five criterias. They had gameplay, they had music or the sound, they
Hmm.
had
Graphics.
graphics, yeah, they had the personal opinion of the reviewer, and then they had I believe it was
The replay value.
yeah, yeah, replayability, yeah. So how long the game was? Could you play 100 hours? Was it just 6 hours, or was the multiplayer replayable and stuff like that? So those five criterias gave you a score like out of 10, and you had like incremental. So it was 100 scale. So you could like get a 8.3 on a game, but you would see the difference between an 8.3 game and an 8.4 game, and you would kind of understand the mindset behind the reviewer. Now they just get given an arbitrary number and just say, hey, this is why the game is the way it is.
It's like, we give this game a 4 out of 5. You still haven't told me why you gave it that. Why should I buy this game? Is this game worth the amount of money that I'm going to be spending on it? Those are types of things I want to know. And when journalists don't include those types of things, I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck was the point of me reading the review then?
Yeah. Um, I know a lot of people, even people watching this stream, and that there are what I mean, if there should be a reviewer score, or if there should be a like a buy, rent, or an avoid or something like that. Um, I still think there should be a number score. Oh, as I see also in the chat, I never know what it is this channel is talking about. It's all random. Well, yeah. I mean, I talk about games and kind of types of stuff. This channel has been around for quite some time. I mean, look at the past. It's been talking about all kinds of stuff. It's not that random. I don't talk about like food or cooking, or it's kind of specific to politics, gaming, and movies. Anyways, back to the topic. I don't know what you guys think about that.
The other problem we have here is, as you mentioned, the bias. You know, the both the political and ideological bias that some of these reviewers have. For example, Nathan Grayson from Kotaku, who gave Zoe Quinn game Depression Quest like a 10 out of 10 only because he was helping her out.
Yeah, and also giving her money and sleeping with her. So
And then we had the constant reviews about first-person shooting games like Call of Duty and Battlefront getting like 90s or something, even though even though most of them are pretty much the same old shit. They just changed the features and and that's and call it a day. Money shot.
Yeah,
What was even more disturbing is after the Orlando shooting, they then tried to trash these games for being violent and containing guns which shoot people, and it's like you're the same fucking people that keep on giving these games like 8s and 9s out of 10. And yet you call gamers entitled when we say we want something different, but at the same time here you are trashing those same very games. It's fucking mind-boggling.
yeah, I feel like, especially this year at E3, every interview I saw with the COD developers were downloaded to hell because they were sick of the bullshit with these people. And Call of Duty Ghost, easily the worst one, I believe, from all of the Call of Duty games, still got an 8.8 from IGN. Just let me quickly check the Metacritic. Um, Call of Duty Ghost.
I played a couple of Call of Duty games and I can honestly say, in my opinion, they're fucking overrated. God damn it.
Uh, 78 on Metacritic.
The
That's still pretty high.
Call of Duty doesn't do anything that other shooting games don't do. I mean, it's like the most basic shooter there is.
Yeah, everyone and their fucking mother has that game down nowadays.
It's like I'd rather play something like Warframe that actually tries to do something different, or
Oh man.
tries to come up with something fun to do other than kill shots, pretty much.
Oh man, I haven't played Warframe in a while, and I can honestly
My
say, go ahead.
my current PC can't handle it, so I'm still waiting for that.
Oh my god. And then there was another game I used to like. It was called Firefall. If it was this Brazilian game. It was kind of like Warframe. Only you get to fight monsters and games in the forest of Brazil. And the latest update, what it did was slow the game down, even on powerful PC computers. It's lagging. It's that bad.
Yeah, that means it's horribly optimized. I think
Yeah.
like a lot of reviewers, when it comes to comparing things, they also really fail at that as well. I remember for the Warcraft movie, almost every single reviewer was comparing it to Lord of the Rings, and it's like, why would you compare an original movie that's based off a video game, and we all know they have a terrible history, to like one of the best fantasy movie series ever made? It's like I realize that that's setting the bar, but there's a ton of other movies that you could compare it to, and there's a ton of other movies that it's better than. Why would you compare it to the best one and then say, "Oh, this is trash"? It just doesn't do it justice.
There is a
Yeah,
certain law that states that if a video game if a movie based on a video game premieres, it will be fucking shit for the most part. Just look at Super Mario. Just look at the Super Mario movie or Street Fighter or what
Those
other?
movies are horrible, but I like their cheesiness. I
Yeah, it
personally
was.
like them.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I watched both of them. they're the good kind of cheesy. You know, the one that tries to take themselves seriously, but at the end of the day, they just won't cut it for the season fan for the fan. They just won't cut it.
Well, but back to the topic with reviews.
Okay.
Um, uh, what do you guys prefer? Do you like numbers or like a buy, rent, or an avoid kind of rating system?
Mm,
I think both
personally,
are optimal in this case.
hmm, an avoid buy system would actually be not a good idea. If you I mean, let's be honest here. When regarding taste, it's subjective. But
Yeah.
if you really like this game, go buy it. Nobody's stopping you. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's simple. Honestly, I haven't. I have not subscribed to a gaming magazine in years. Not since fucking Game Informer was became Call of Duty Illustrated.
Pretty much.
Like, god damn it! We get it! You fucking like you first person shooters! I wanna see something
We
else, like a racing game, fucking Lego hell, there was even a Lego cover, if I recall
we
correctly.
get it already. You're fucking console plebs.
I actually play on both personally, but I don't wanna be that guy. But we get it. You guys really like Doritos and fucking Mountain Dew.
But yeah,
What's later?
what do you guys think of uh, should a reviewer actually finish the game before reviewing it?
I don't think it's necessary to finish a game in order to review what you've played so far. However, I do think it's necessary to explain either how far you got in the game or how long you played it to give people
Yes,
an idea of what to expect.
I would actually agree to that. So, like,
So the one.
say, if you have like like a 100 hour RPG single player game, say you played 50, 60 hours of it around there, just give some kind of measurement, you would kind of get an idea where the reviewer is coming from.
I don't even think you need to play 50, 60 hours. I mean, if you played 8 hours and got to level 36 or something in an RPG and then hit a certain point in the story, tell us about it. Tell us where you left off at. We know what to expect in the game up until then, and we can take it from there. We're not stupid, we're not completely inept, but you need to give us an idea of what you experience so we can decide for ourselves if that's what we want to do as well.
Yeah, because I don't even um just
It's
looking
like if you're
chat.
it's like if you're reviewing a Pokemon game. Tell me how far Pokemon follows a pretty linear story when it comes down to like where you go in certain cities and stuff like that. Tell me which badge you got up to, or did you get up to the Elite Four or something like that? Did you beat the Elite Four? And tell me how many hours did you clock playing the game so I can get an idea of what those hours will be like for me, and is it going to be worth my time to play the game? Certain games require more of an input than others, but I mean, without that information, we won't know if those hours are worth our time.
Why do I feel like most of the people who review Gold and Silver only got stuck to the third gym leader? Fucking Whitney. Actually, for
the,
real.
the third gym leader for that region is normally a pain in the ass.
That's the weird thing. I never had any issues with her. at all.
I died at her at least like 7 times.
But otherwise, a lot of people say that she's hard. Nah, that ain't hard. In the original one, Lance is the only guy who ever just fucking destroyed me.
See, I always never had a problem with Lance because I always had like something with an ice type attack and
Well, it
just like
was
wrecked his shit.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
let's try to
Lance's
get
army of fucking dragons.
let's try to get back to some topic, guys. We can
Yeah,
get kind of
Sorry.
wander like
sorry.
off topic afterwards. I
Eh,
just get I wanna kind of delve into this topic. That's why.
Hmm.
okay.
Um um yeah, where were we? Yeah, cause at least I would actually I personally like if a reviewer finishes the game. But if not, there should be at least saying that how far you got into the game on how many hours, because that's always good to for the person consuming your review, so they know how much they how much of the review they can take into account when you're talking about the game.
There's one reviewer that I watch called the Lazy Peon. Have you guys ever heard of him?
Mm,
Mm,
He reviews like a lot of different PC or MMO games, and he has a series called First Impressions. And in the series, he always says like how long he played the game. He gives video of what he's doing during the game, talks about whether he's having fun or not. He talks about like the questing and stuff like that. Like, does he like it? Is it linear? Are there lots of side quests and stuff like that? And at the end of the review, he's like, "Hey guys, I played the game for this long. I got this far, and these are just my first impressions, which can change if you get further into the game." And I think that's a pretty good way of doing a review.
yeah, I would actually agree to that. So
that's actually a pretty good idea.
I mean, I'm not saying that journalists have to follow that exact formula, but it's like at least
uh,
establish a criteria for how you're going to judge something.
yeah, but it would kind of be boring if everyone did everything the same way. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I would agree to that. Doesn't the Total Biscuit do something similar? Like play 25 minutes and judge it. I don't know. Does anyone do you guys watch him? Total Biscuit.
I watched some of Total Biscuit's videos. I think he does a pretty good job. Although
Yeah,
sometimes he does miss certain things.
oh yeah, sure. I'm just saying that there are different ways to review or talk about the game. Talk about a game. That's what my point about this. Um, and yeah, but I also think they should distinguish between the multiplayer and the single player. That's the only praise I have for IGN is when they review the multiplayer of a multiplayer in a game. They actually wait until after the game is out, so they've tried the servers and real people and actually give a score better or worse after they've tried the actual multiplayer, because we all know games with who have VRM or some kind of online connection issue, Drive Club, Diablo, SimCity, all those games, and they get a good score, and they totally ignore the online issues they have when they get released.
If you're playing an offline version of a game that your average consumer won't have access to, or you're playing a version of the game in which the online isn't functioning, at least fucking tell us that, because that means you won't be able to review that part of the game.
Well, I have seen. I don't think anyone else does this when it comes to reviews. They don't wait until the real servers are up and actually test the game in real environments. And this is why I don't think at least the big sites right now should get review copies because they constantly screw up the reviews time after time, and can't actually wait to play it with how the players are gonna do it, and that's why I think they should actually buy the games themselves, so they actually have a stake in when they play the games. Smaller sites, of course, I think should get review copies because it's harder for smaller sites uh, to actually be able to afford to review all these games. But
I think that's precisely why the bigger sites get review copies, though. Not just in order to get a favorable review, but they know that the big sites have so much of a workload that they're not gonna nitpick on small details which may or may not be working, like DRM issues or driver issues and stuff like that. Um, it doesn't seem like a lot of the people on these sites are very tech savvy either.
that
And
doesn't.
while they may or may not be, after looking at tons of these reviews, I never see it.
I see Saruda Hime, I think that's right. Um, saying journalists used to do game reviews like actual reviews. Now it's all narrative. They don't talk about the game. They just talk about issues, which is kind of true.
I don't want to hear
Because
about sexism. I'm sorry. A lot of reviewers seem to be talking about that lately, and it's like, I really just don't care.
yeah, I try to watch a few reviews of Mighty Number Nine, but none of them actually mentioned Wii U getting bricked or some of the frame rate issues, which is kind of surprising.
Frame Choppy frame rates can screw a game over badly, especially one that requires more precision action.
Yeah, exactly. When you have sports games or you have like shooters or competitive games, you need to have 60 frames. Um, and when or platformers as well. Sorry, not forgetting the platformers. You have to use precision, speed, and in the competitive environments, you need to have a proper frame rate. And in a platform like that when there's frame rate issues, that's unacceptable. And
I think
usually, yeah, go ahead.
I think lately a lot of developers have been getting away with doing things like that, like cutting frames down and just delivering overall more shitty products. Part of it has to do with gamers giving them their money anyway. I'm not gonna be dense and forget about that, but I think a lot of it also is that the mainstream games media doesn't call them out on these things. So people don't find out about a lot of it until after they purchase.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people will read a review for a game, but it says nothing about the frame rate issues or that the game was locked at 30 or 60 FPS or anything like that.
Exactly, and that's a big issue. You're supposed to give the consumer the information he or she is seeking, and then the consumer should consider what the journalist is saying, if it's worth his or her money to get the game. Um, and this is completely failed. The gaming journalism no longer stands um, for the gamer or the consumer, because otherwise Gone Home wouldn't have gotten a 85 on freaking Metacritic.
I think gaming media, as it stands right now, stands for nothing other than itself. And I think that's one of the main issues that gamers have with the games media and why things like Gamergate happened to begin with. The games media really doesn't give a fuck about us nowadays. I mean, look at all the attacks that they do towards video games in general. And then look at the things that they say about gamers as a whole. I think that's why a lot of people are moving to sites like Twitch and YouTube to find people who either review or stream games because they're sick and fucking tired of being told that they're evil, misogynist white males who fucking hate women, and a lot of people are just like, I don't have time for this shit. The least I mean, even if you did all that and you still gave a good review to the game, we'd probably still fucking read your shit. Let's be honest. But it's like they don't even review games anymore. They just bitch about gamers and games.
Yeah, because
I'll
oh, go ahead.
I'll be honest. I have a horrible feeling that most of the guys who are doing game reviews nowadays are the most condescending pricks who are the type of people who will give you some condescending lecture about how they're right and how you're a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
I
we
like had to unfriend one of my friends who recently got into Major League Gaming because he came out as trans and then he started talking about how gaming is such a boys club and all this other shit, and I'm like, okay, you haven't transitioned yet. You're a boy joining a boys club. What the fuck is your problem?
wow. Yeah,
He's like, but I'm trans. I'm like, nobody gives a fuck.
yeah. When it comes to gaming, nobody gives a fuck what kind of type of gender you are, or your background. Either they wanna play together and know you can handle on your own, or they they don't give a shit. Either way, they mostly just care about either have someone to talk to, or it would be a little bit social, or have someone have a good player on the side to play games with. Well, going back to like the reviews, um, because I personally stopped giving shit about reviews a few years back and started watching like an hour stream of a game. GameSpot used to do that. I don't know anymore. But instead of watching the reviews, I watched they had 1 hour of a stream with one of the developers being there, where answering questions at the same time playing the game. So then I got a representation of the game itself, and I could actually get some questions answers from the developer. And right then and there, I could decide for myself if the if the game was something I was interested in, or if it was a pass.
Developer AMAs are big for a reason. It's like if games journalists won't do their fucking job, then we might as well ask the questions ourselves.
Yeah. But I rarely see these days. Um, I really hate I really hate the E3 interviews because they're usually the journalists never ask any freaking hard questions. They just ask the most softball questions there are to these developers. It pisses me off. I don't know about you guys. That's why I mostly only watch the conferences. Um,
I'm the
when it
I'm the type of person like if I was a games reviewer, I'd probably shit on a bad developer in the middle of an interview. But I'm not expecting everybody to do that. That burns bridges. But I think that
you
game
you don't
interviewers
even
need
have
to
to
grow some
shit,
damn
shit on
balls.
the yeah, but you don't even have to shit on the developer. You can just pose some fair questions towards the developer. You don't even have to shit on the game or because then you're just bad at your job. But having fair criticism, like if there are even have the reviewer. Well, these days, as we're talking about now, the reviewers are kind of not doing their job. But in the ideal scenario, the reviewer of the game would be there talking to the developer at E3 or something like that, and actually come ask the developer about the issues concerning like FIFA. If it's a yearly or if it's a sequel, like ask them if they have addressed the issues in the past games.
It's like also when it comes to sequels, a lot of people don't seem to talk about like coherence in things like the story from the last game either. Because a lot of these reviewers, let's face it, probably either haven't played the version before or probably don't know the storyline. And I mean, that's okay, but it's like if you haven't played the versions before and you're reviewing a sequel, state that out. Let us know that it's going to be your first time playing a game in this series.
But a game should also stand on its own feet. So, but I
Yeah.
also hate if it's a yearly game, I would say this. If it's a yearly game, I can kind of see if you kind of compare it to the last year's game. But if there are like if it's a bigger game or not a bigger game, but let's say Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. That's they have had almost 3 years between the games. So what is what the difference is? Uh, that game should probably stand more on its own. But when it comes to yearly games, where the development cycle is so tight, like Call of Duty, FIFA, well, not really with Assassin's Creed this year, but where you have like the gameplay doesn't change that much. It's incremental change. You should be able to compare them a little bit.
I think that websites also need to start giving specific assignments to people who know more about certain games than others. Like, if you have one guy that's played every Call of Duty, but you don't give him the assignment to do a review on Call of Duty, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? He should be the one to review it because he's obviously played the other ones. He's the best qualified to do such.
Yeah,
And I noticed that a lot of these sites they just post any review from any reviewer without context as to their experience in the genre or even with that particular series. I don't
yeah,
understand that.
yeah. But that would be an issue with the smaller sites because that's usually a staff problem. Where smaller sites can't afford to actually do that. But I agree with you. With
I
the
see
bigger
it
sites,
even for the bigger sites, I mean.
yeah, yeah, I agree totally. With the bigger sites, that should be a standard, of course. Because if there's one guy who's really good at racing games, be like the racing reviewer and he or she could probably spot issues with that game easier
with
than
the
as
physics,
well.
the car list, the accuracy to the real thing.
Yeah.
In the case of Gran Turismo and Forza, this is coming from someone who has been playing racing games since 1999. Actually, I mean, most of my video games are actually racing games, and I'll be honest. There's a couple I've been more or less disappointed in. One of them was Gran Turismo 5 because most of the cars that were in there were basically rehash of Gran Turismo 4, which is objectively one of the best versions. Same with Forza 4. I never liked Forza 3 much, but Forza 4 that is a bit more easier when it comes to getting money to buy more cars and win more races.
I think if you're a
Also,
racing reviewer, you should not be allowed to review unless you have played Midnight Club, but that's just me.
um, I actually had I actually played the first Midnight Club, and I have Midnight Club 5 and the my bad Midnight Club LA and the Dub Edition remix, which has a lot more cars and Tokyo as one of the cities. It's a pretty nice add-on to be honest, and especially at the price I got it for.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at the chat from Saruda. The internet has changed how people get information, and part of the reviewers' problem is content that the gamers can't get just get from other gamers like YouTubers. There's a natural progression to Let's Plays. Agree to that?
Yeah, it does seem like gaming media hasn't evolved to that stage yet, though. I think it's kind of being held back quite a bit by lack of industry standard.
Oh, definitely. I mean, most of the that's coming out. Maybe it's just me, but it just isn't that interesting. Or they're usually remakes. In the case,
So many remakes.
it's the same with the fucking movie industry nowadays. It's nothing but goddamn remakes and and it's like it's like they lost a bunch of they lost ideas. Like how am I gonna say this? Forgive me if I stutter so much. This isn't English isn't exactly my first language to be honest. I'm gonna cut it short. They stopped getting new ideas and decided it was more economically viable to rehash all classic games for the most part. Even though some of the
That's
rehashes aren't
laughable.
aren't exactly that good.
They're basically trying to cash in on nostalgia.
That's exactly that's the main reason they do it for nostalgic reasons.
But the like the big ups are higher in the company. In games and movies, they use names instead of actually making looking at the reason why movies are selling well. It's because the movies are good or at least decent and hit with the audience. I mean, people might hate Transformers, but if you watch one, it's just mindless fun with it doesn't
Explosions.
really. Yeah, it's a popcorn movie. It doesn't really. It's not really trying to sell that it's an Oscar bait movie or something like that. But when you have like I use the new Ghostbusters, they're trying to use the name and just try to cash in on nostalgia and use narrative with the whole social justice thing as an angle, and think that's gonna,
Everything is about franchises these days, and I
yeah.
think people are getting sick of it. Like, how many Call of Duties are we gonna have before they actually step outside their little box and try a new formula with Call of Duty that isn't something that's exactly out of fucking Battlefield
Or
I
Gears of
mean,
War.
or
um,
Gears of War? Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of things nowadays people are trying to get everybody to recognize this particular name. And even with the Ghostbuster thing, they're not even specifically targeting um the old fans from the original. They're just trying to cash in on the Ghostbusters name. They're trying to franchise it and sell it as a name, not particularly something good. And you can tell by their desperation to get people to see this movie. Like they're giving away free movie tickets in boxes of fucking cereal, 8 packs of cereal. And then on the cover of the wrapping, it has like Ghostbusters in theaters, and then it has the date. And it's like they're so fucking desperate to get people to see this movie and to try and franchise this that they're willing to stoop to fucking absurdly low levels.
yeah, I also, I mean, I would like to see what the reviews for Ghostbusters and Call of Duty, of course, because the trailer for those are downvoted to shit. And I would be really interested to see if sites like IGN and GameSpot and all the other progressive sites nowadays, uh, i- if they're gonna actually review Call of Duty and give it a high score.
I think games media has a responsibility to not just the gamers, but anybody who will purchase these products to give accurate reviews of different facets and experiences that a person might receive. It's a game developer's prerogative to try and cut corners where they can. I mean, that's just how capitalism works. But I think where games media needs to step in is hold them accountable for the shit that they try to pull. And currently, games media isn't doing that. So the gamers have to do it. And when the gamers have to do it, then you get the games media calling gamers entitled. And it's like, we're not entitled. We're just doing something that you should already be doing because you're being fucking paid for it. It's your job and you're not doing it, so we're going to do it. I don't think they're in any place to complain that they're losing money or they're not getting clicks or they're not getting views because they're not doing what they should be doing and trying to make these games better for the consumer.
Yeah, an example of a game. I mean, I kind of get that people like Skyrim, for instance. But that game is a pretty broken mess, and it also had massive issues on PS3. It didn't even release the DLC that were released on other platforms, and it still has a 92 on Metacritic, which should have been reflected in the scores, but it's just not. Even though it might be a game, even the mods would even make Skyrim a brilliant game, but the core game does have massive flaws.
I never liked the original Skyrim, but I'll be damned if I'll say it's a bad game.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just the glitches and it seem to be ignored for the sake of the game.
Yeah,
That's kind of my point here. Um,
What the Sorry, I'm just playing the final boss of this game I'm playing. Matt and the Curse of the Brotherhood. Holy shit, this nigga's
Um,
big.
um, where yeah, with the when it comes to Call of Duty and all those games, because there seems to be such a massive disconnect with this year. People are just fed up with Call of Duty, and I
I
just
think we
hope.
all kind of agree that there should be criteria for reviewing these games, but I'm kind of wondering what you guys think that criteria should consist of.
Well,
I think as I've said, the old system for GameSpot is probably the most ideal way of reviewing a game, where we have five different criteria which you score, and then you have the final review score score for the game.
personally, value for your buck. Replay value, of course. Replay value is one is the primordial the biggest priority of them all. And
Yeah,
how many
I would
and
say
how? Sorry.
no, because I would say like you said, replayability, sound, like music, sound design, voice acting, gameplay, um, and the reviewer's own opinion.
I would say should we add the artwork as well? Just in case. Let's add how good the artwork really is.
Yeah, I think that's also important. And some games have a certain art style. Like sometimes the art style doesn't fit the game at all.
You know, that would go under the graphics kind of. I forgot to mention that one because
Okay.
graphics where frame rate, how the design looks in the world and stuff like that. So yeah. Welcome, Henry the Egg. Uh, what are your thoughts on reviews? Yo, you there? It doesn't seem his mic is working. You might have
Egg-
to adjust your
Eggs don't
Hangouts.
talk.
Wait, hold on, can you hear now?
Yep.
Oh, there you
Alright.
go. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just a bit
uh,
sick at the moment.
uh,
Anyway, reviews.
your
I
criteria.
think
What?
reviews certainly need a bit more work.
Yeah, we
Like
were
take
talking about criteria. What criteria do you require in a review?
um gameplay is probably the most important aspect to review. Graphics can be up there, but they're certainly not the most important. Uh, I certainly dislike reviewers who they look for like the uttermost stupid things to review just so they can disagree with one certain game or not. Take for example the Warcraft movie review. While it's not a game, many reviewers just utterly disliked it, and they, sorry, I can't think of the word. Yeah, they were looking at tropes in the movie and
Like game tropes?
well, not game tropes, but they were looking at movie cliches and such, so they could put this movie down so much. It was a good movie. There were a few problems, such with pacing at the start, but the reviewers chose all these stupid things in the reviews for the movie. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's true with games as well. Um,
yeah.
we kind of mentioned all the issues when it comes to the gaming reviews and how YouTubers seem or streamers are the more viable option nowadays. It seems. I mean, I mentioned several times now, but if you have a game like Gone Home that has an 85 on Metacritic, and then you have a problem.
Mm.
You can actually finish the game in like 50 seconds if you're really quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we pretty much said everything on your reviews. I have a smaller other topic which we can discuss before we close down the stream. I don't know if you let me find the link so all of you.
I
Um,
do have a
do you?
question. What you guys think about one aspect of reviews, though? Do you think that reviewers should always include their personal enjoyment from playing the game?
Yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
there's a. I mean, a review is nothing without their whether without their personal opinion, whether they liked it or disliked it. It's the same with everything, cars, TV shows, and anything really. So yeah, they should add their own personal enjoyment and rating as long as it's not biased.
I think as long as it's
Well,
separated from the other aspects of the review, that's fine.
well, the reviews are always gonna be a little bit biased, because you're reviewing art, and art is kind of subjective. So yeah, that's kind of a hard, but a review should try to be as objective as possible. Um, well, I think we've pretty much covered the topic of reviews. Just a quick topic which I think popped up today. I don't know if you saw this thing, but the cosplayer CEO got told, someone apparently got triggered and she had to put on pants because of her Kami cosplay.
Get
You
the
guys
fuck
can see
out of
this.
here!
I can screen share so everyone can see this.
Yeah, I
Here
remember.
we go. I can read out what it says in the post. Apparently, I have too much jelly for Florida. Thanks so much to the person who complained to the staff at CEO Gaming. Because of you, I have to pants my Kami cosplay. Because in 95 degrees weather, children will be traumatized if they see legs. Oh my. To be clear, staff of for the con and respectful. I'm pissed at the person who can't handle someone having fun and cosplay and people enjoying character like Cammy. Yeah, what do you think?
Why in the hell is wrong with the person who actually got triggered by this? What was he or she either jealous of her physical figure or something? Because damn, son.
Hold on, I just actually had to Google Cammy, and isn't doesn't she wear like
The
camouflage jeans?
uh,
No,
No,
well,
the
not really.
Cammy is like
A leotard,
has like nothing.
fishnet socks, supposedly.
She doesn't even have
Fishnet stockings.
fishnets.
Well, all right.
She d-
Those. Sorry.
yeah, Cammy's ass is just out.
Yeah, same
here.
thing with. Let's see who else I remember. Same thing
Here's the
with
link.
Rainbow Mika. Same thing happened with Rainbow Mika with Rainbow Mika from the Street Fighter games. Her ass slap pretty much triggered a bunch of people because they
I
consider
mean, I saw multiple pictures of this person's outfit. Her muff was sticking out quite a bit, but I don't. I personally don't agree with that. But I think I don't think the fighting game tournament was in the wrong for asking her to cover up, considering what her outfit looked like beforehand. However, I personally don't agree with covering it up, if that
Well, it
makes
wasn't
any sense.
it wasn't the tournament. It was the person that complained. However, it could also be probably several persons who complained.
It was
So
confirmed that the person complained to the tournament about it, and the tournament actually has a policy in which she wasn't allowed to dress like that.
Fair
uh,
enough. And I can understand the weather. Like, if it's pretty cold, yeah, put on some pants. But at the same time, if you're gonna go to a tournament cosplaying, you might want to be 100% accurate with your costume.
I mean, her costume was pretty accurate. It was just, that's the nature of Cammy's costume.
Yeah.
If you get your measurements a little bit under, then some of your muff is going to be showing. Um, but I mean, I don't think they were necessarily wrong. I just don't agree with it.
camel toe for days.
Yes.
I know Cop. I don't know if you the viewers know of her. Porcelain Chips is her YouTube channel. But she's pretty well known into cosplaying. Um, she had a really good explanation. I tried to get her on to explain this very well, but I personally disagree with how they went about it, and uh, I just think it's stupid to as long as you're not naked, I think you should be able to cosplay or whatever the hell you want. Um, but yeah, personal chips, aka a cup of whatever it was, a cup of tea, or yeah. She goes
I've
under
seen
several
much
names.
more risque cosplay.
Oh yeah,
uh,
there are.
Speaking of, do you guys remember that cosplay about Nona Jakusura from Kill la Kill?
Yes, from New the Beach.
Yeah, the nudist bitch one where she stood next to the this sign that said rape is consent.
Yeah.
Oh god, that one though, that one's pretty fucking legendary. The salt was fucking real with that post.
A lot of people have been cosplaying that character.
And I do, and then there's the people who cosplay as Chun Li, who, well, let's be honest here, her thighs are fucking thick, man. Like it's still a muscle because of all those high kicks. And I've seen a few that were just not only were accurate, but they were just ridiculously good.
I think that as far as cosplay goes, if you're going to start bitching about people's cosplay, you're gonna have to start banning particular characters. And if you're
Case
gonna start banning particular characters, then that's gonna be an issue. Because that's the nature of Cammy's costume.
case in
Yeah,
point, you little faggots who like Steven Universe.
yeah, but,
I mean, if you're gonna bitch about something that's, it's like, why don't you just ban Cammy cosplay in general if you have that much of a problem with it?
yeah. Okay, like, this
But
is,
then
I
it's
don't
like,
like I don't like using the slippery slope fallacy, but where do they really draw the line if Cami is too risque? I mean, well, who decides what is too risky or too much? I mean,
Exactly. And it's also like, okay, you don't have a problem with it until somebody says something. So basically, you're just gonna kowtow just because one person has an issue with it. You're going to fuck with this person's cosplay because one person is a fucking Puritan. Okay.
Oh my God!
Islam decide.
Fucking up, speaking of fucking Puritans, it's kind of ironic that the left in the has now become the moral majority, especially with stuff when it comes to like how am I gonna say this? It's ironic that these guys were fighting the radical left was actually fighting against the religious conservatives, and they ended up being the same people that they obviously hate now. They're the new moral majority.
no, well, they're not well in the gaming industry because they're the journalists. I would agree, but when it comes to gamers overall, they're really in the minority because it's basically just the San Francisco clique who spews this nonsense.
Ah, the Bay Area. Yeah, crazy man.
It's gonna be like if they start banning outfits like camis though, then you're gonna then those same people who are bitching about cami being risque are also gonna start talking about, well, you can't tell women what they can and can't cosplay and shit like that, and it's like you just can't win with these people, so why just not ignore them?
Yeah, that's a double standard because they're all around saying, "Oh, we shouldn't shame women," or and don't tell women what to wear. Don't shame women because of how they look and stuff like that. And then when a sexy girl like that goes around wearing whatever she wants, the we don't in this instance we don't know if it is like a SJW, or if it's just a conservative who got triggered. But basically, we've seen this with games where they tell developers to censor shit, and because women can't wear whatever they want, because they sexualize it's the male gaze and all that shit. But whenever women do whatever they want, they get triggered when they see someone who's not 500 pounds who wears something sexy.
Oh my God, that fucking test bitch. Ugh, hell no. No. Let's be honest here. This whole body positivity shouldn't even be a thing. And this is coming from a fat fuck at that. I mean, being fat
Won't
is not a
somebody
good
think
thing,
of
damn
the
it.
children?
Oh, who?
Won't somebody think of the children?
Oh, God. Hey, it's Helen Lovejoy. What the fuck are you doing here?
That's basic. Like when people are bitching about Kami cosplayers, that's basically the first thing that pops in my mind.
Oh my God. Won't somebody just think of the children? Fuck!
I'm, I'm sorry that you didn't teach your child to handle a nice pair of thighs or a nice ass. Sorry, that's not our problem. This is a fighting game tournament, not daycare.
Henry, you've been pretty silent on this. Do you have any opinion? You have to unmute yourself. Oh well. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had for today. I've been kind of really busy. I've been working a little bit on had a few stuff I had to figure out. Well, what have you guys been playing recently, by the way?
Uh,
Overwatch.
I'm Well, as I said, I'm playing this video game for the Xbox 360 called Match and the Curse of the Brotherhood, which I got for free a couple of months ago on Xbox Live, and I'm fighting the final boss right now.
All right.
And it's
I've been playing League of Legends, Guild Wars 2, and Necopara.
mhm. For the most part, I've been playing. I'm still playing Forza 4 to this day. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
I
Maybe
have Forza. I bought the limited edition for that, but I haven't touched it in a while. Forza 4 is an excellent game. Henry, do you well, what are you have you been playing? You have to
the
unmute. You said
the
you
D,
was here.
the DLC for Forza 4 is actually worth paying if you like cars because you get stuff like the Chevy Corvair, the Corvette CR1 Le Mans race car, the Mazda 787V, the
Yeah,
C9 Sauber Mercedes, the Volvo A50. I actually, I was one of the few people who actually petitioned that car, the A50, because battle wagon.
yeah, I bought the limited edition, so I got all the DLC with.
Oh yeah, and the BMW art cars. I mean, I remember that was the limited edition ones had a bunch of BMWs that were painted by people on Turn 10 and the Forza community.
Oh,
What
nice.
else? Yeah. Uh, I do have I also have the Forza Motorsport 3 Ultimate Edition, but the thing is, it's not really Ultimate because it doesn't come with the Community Classic DLC, and the VIP got removed as well.
Oh, okay.
And the Sticks
Uh,
card pack, which has three cars: the Lexus LFA, the Mercedes SLS, and what's the third car? Oh yeah, the Koenigsegg CCX R. Anyway, we're going on topic. Henry, what kind of game are you playing right now, bro?
you have to unmute yourself. God damn it! You said you were here. Yeah. Anyways, I've been playing PES 2016. That's what I've been playing. I've been able to play much more. Yeah, I think I'm gonna kill the stream right here. Anything you guys want to shill before we kill the stream?
Let's see. We shoot the shit or let's see what the fuck is this? Hmm. It's dude, get a
Do,
look.
do, do,
Go look
do you
at
have a
this,
stream?
dude. But sorry, but there is um there's some breaking news. It's archived, thank God. So let's see this bloody thing.
What is it going down or something?
Multiple people stabbed a mass casualty incident at a neo-Nazi march. Okay, who wants to bet the people who stabbed those neo-Nazis were Black Lives Matter supporters?
I would love to bet $50 on that.
Oh, what the fuck? It says here, looks like, well, I thought it was gonna be BLM, but look at it, who did it. 150, around 150 anarchists and anti-fascist protesters.
Anti-fascists. No, they
That
are the fascists.
that's social justice warriors.
I think it's funny when people feel the necessary to say that they're anti-fascist. It's like, are you pro-fat? Is everyone else pro-fascism? Like, no. Just no.
Like, can you not? God damn it! Can you not, you shitlord? You fascist scum! I bet you vote for Trump.
Holy shit.
Well,
It's just.
let's talk about this more off air, and we can do another stream about this when we know more. Um, but yeah, that apparently happened. Anything you want to share? Apex, what is your Twitter?
I do have a Twitter, but I don't use it. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, Frustraker, yours is just Frustraker, isn't it?
Frost Draco Music on Twitter, or just Frost Draco on most other things.
And Henry has Henry the Egg, I believe it is.
Yes, it's literally just at Henry the Egg.
All right. Me, I'm the underscore underdog on Twitter. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.